Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Network 216 proudly presents the Rust Belt Rivalry with Brian, Redshirt Fresh Fan Phillows, Jason, hanging out in his garage this week.
Hell yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's 4th of July week. Football is around the corner. Football.
You muted yourself mid-sentence. Football is upon us.
Football is upon us. I didn't actually do that, so I don't know how that happened. I think there's a ghost in my garage. This is great. But yeah, no, it's getting to that time of year, man. We're getting closer and closer. We got training camps. We got OTAs are out of the way. It's getting down to it, man. I'm excited to be here.
It is exciting. We got currently, as we said at halftime, the USA is up 1-0. In the round of 32, so that's exciting. NBA free agency has been crazy so far.
No,
I don't know if you saw.
What's happening?
What's happening? Seriously?
Yeah. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Somehow Kawhi Leonard ends up back with the Raptors. I didn't see that coming. Jaylen Brown just got traded to the Sixers for Paul George, which is like,
and some picks. Yeah, I don't know.
Giannis is now a member of the Heat. LeBron James is an official free agent and claims that he's going to take less money. I don't believe it, but we'll see.
Where's he going to play? Give me three locations. Give me 3 locations you think he could play.
3 locations that he could play?
Yeah.
I think it's the ones that everybody is talking about, right? I think the final 2 are Golden State and Cleveland, which Golden State to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But we can dive a little bit more into that, and then Miami, I guess, would be the 3rd one. But this is all based on the premise of the Rich Paul interview, which said, like, LeBron's all about his happiness now, which, like, I'm sorry, what does that mean? Now, I do have a little bit of insider information. He did renew his membership this year for the Firestone Country Club in Akron, which he has not done in quite some time. Now, that doesn't
how do we know this? Are you going to out some sources here, or?
Hell no, I'm not outing any sources. What are you, nuts? I'm just telling you that I know that he has renewed his membership. That's all I know. That's all I'll say. Like I said, doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? I mean, he could have done that from LA still. I'm sure he can fly private. And, I know he doesn't like to spend money on what is he known for? Not spending money on YouTube Premium or whatever. But, he doesn't like the ads, but he won't pay for it. So, but no, those are the 3 that I see. I think, to me, the thing that makes the most sense is a reunion with Cleveland, right? Like, he's going to go out a hero no matter what the season ends like. We already made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. This team could really use a person in his position, even at 41. So if he goes to Golden State, like, Steph Curry redid basketball for all of Golden State. Like, what's LeBron going to do in his last gasp effort? And I don't even think they would have enough to beat a San Antonio Spurs and an Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
And if he joins the Heat, I mean, I guess you've got Bam and Giannis, but it's just not really a great fit, I don't think. Now, the Cavs still are lacking a lot of straight-up shooters. There's no center, kind of like we had Channing Frye, who's like a spot-up shooter who, like, anytime you get him the ball at the 3, he's making it if he's open. But I think as far as, like, the team around him and how the puzzle pieces fit, I think Cleveland makes the most sense to me. Do you have a differing opinion?
No, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to finish in Cleveland. I think it's like, how a lot of players do the one-day contract and they retire. I mean, this is his version of that, but he's going to play a year. I think this is a way, again, to, like, pave the road for Bronny back to Cleveland, possibly.
Sure.
It makes too much sense. It just, to me, it's the 3rd act of Cleveland. End it where you began. But I also think he wants another title. Now, is Cleveland close? Absolutely. Are they closer than Golden State? Yeah. I think 100% closer than Golden State. I think Golden State's limping along at this point. And you're right. The Western Conference, you have some behemoths out there that I wouldn't want to deal with. So I think it makes a lot of sense to go back to Cleveland. Now, are you willing, with your sourcing and your insider information, Are you willing to report that LeBron James is leaning towards returning to Cleveland?
Yeah.
The red shirt fresh fan, is he going to do it?
For all the reasons I just listed, yes, it makes the most sense to me. And I will make a TikTok that, that will spit that opinion out, which basically means that after I make that TikTok, that bold statement, it's going to end up being wrong. And then I'm going to get like 10,000 comments saying you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. So
can he do this to Cleveland twice? Go to Miami twice on Cleveland?
Oh, at this point, he can go wherever he wants. Okay. In my lifetime, I'm almost 40 years old. And the only championship I have in my lifetime, as far as Cleveland sports goes, is that 2016 championship that LeBron brought. Okay. Now, you can say what you want. I think the divorce and everything was all about Kyrie not being, let's just say, an adult, and thinking that like he was going to be like this. He needed to be the centerpiece of it. Like, dude, you're not a number one, but that's okay. That's long time ago. But that's what I think. Like, at this point, he's given us a championship. There's a lot of still angry people in Cleveland. There's still a lot of bitter people that are mad that he's left us twice. Okay, it is what it is. I don't care. I was mad at the time, but now it is what it is, man.
Now, what would be like the football equivalence of all this? Because I mean, this free agency is crazy. Like, basketball free agency is super fun because there's a lot of stuff, and they trade like 90 draft picks for things, and it's like, what the hell? Like, what? I mean, it's like everybody is the LA Rams. Like, they're just like trading all the picks, and they get all the older guys. Like, what? Like, this would be insane if it was NFL. Like, can you imagine the breaking news cycle that this would be?
Yeah, but it's nowhere near. It just can't be, right? Like, in the NFL, you have 22 starters and 53-man rosters. In the NBA, right, you have 5 starters and 16-man rosters. I think I have to double check that. Actually, it's like 14 or 16-man rosters, and in the playoffs, as we all know, there's usually only an 8 or 9-man rotation. So you just don't see that kind of movement, right? Because a move like Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons until the last few years has been crazy, right? Like, nobody would ever do that.
It's getting more common. And also it's trade deadline stuff. I mean, you used to never see NFL trade deadline trades. The one I do remember is the Lions actually trading Roy Williams, the receiver, to Dallas at the trade deadline. It's like, who would ever do this? And now there's more of it.
Now it's pretty common.
Yeah.
Before we dive more into the show, I'll just dive in here. The Network 216 has its first official sponsor, and I would love for you all to go try out this product. So today's stream is powered by Dubby Energy. Get clean, crash-free energy with great flavors, ingredients designed for focus and performance. Head to Dubby Energy and use code NETWORK216 to save you 10% on your order with Dubby Energy to fuel your day. And yes, as you can see in the middle of the screen here, the website is dubby.gg. So Jason, with that being said, we will go ahead and dive in. The agenda for today, as we normally talk a lot of football action, even though it is the off season, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to discuss. There's a lot going on. It's been a month since we've last talked after the Myles Garrett trade took off. Today we'll be talking. We're going to have a little bit of fun with backup quarterback rankings.
Oh, that's not fun, boy. That's serious stuff.
Very serious. Very serious. The number 33 through 64 quarterbacks in the league. A little Sorsby action. Terrion Arnold, and we'll dive into a little Jim Schwartz. And as usual, we'll just touch on a lot of things: Cowboys, or the Doll Boys as it looks in my edit there, Browns, Bengals, and Lions. Jason, where do you want to start off today?
I think we should start with the topic du jour, the news of the day, and I think it's Terrion Arnold. I honestly think that's over the last month, since we took a break after Myles Garrett because Brian was so exhausted from talking about Myles Garrett. He's like, I need to stop talking about Myles Garrett. So we took a little bit of a hiatus. And then Terrion Arnold came to us and filled filled the airwaves with his insanity. So I think that's where we should start today.
Okay. Why don't you, for those of us that maybe don't follow the Lions so closely, give us like a brief overview of what happened with Terrion Arnold.
So I will say this. I want, if anyone's interested and they want to read a very interesting story, I will not do it any justice because it is crazy. Like, it is an insane story that involves kidnapping, that involves, multiple people, possibly, a robbery. So the way that I understand it is Terrion Arnold and his friends were robbed of like $250,000 worth of stuff in an Airbnb. And they misidentified the individuals who robbed them. And the next day, Terrion Arnold, his friends, apparently, his female friends, lured the individuals that they thought robbed them to the Airbnb, where they were then held at gunpoint, robbed, and kidnapped. Terrion Arnold apparently not involved in the room, but yeah. So it's insane. I mean, this is one of those old-fashioned, like get back stories, but the get back is the wrong people to get back on. So it's pretty crazy. I do suggest reading it, but if, the kind of fallout from there was the Lions, they've known about this for months now, and the Lions have been publicly standing behind him and, saying, they're sticking with him and all this great stuff. And he is a former first-round pick out of Alabama a couple years ago at a very, high value position in the league. And so they've been sticking by him. And then his bond is set at $1 million, and not more than an hour later, the Lions cut him. So apparently that was the final straw for the Lions.
Very crazy story.
Yes.
And the one thing that I get out of this is just like, man, why do players do dumb stuff like this? And why are they even involved? I think about this every time a player drinks and drives. Like, you have so much money. Why do you not have a driver? Why don't you have somebody? You just pay somebody $1,000 a week or whatever it is, cash into the table, and handle the stuff that you should not be doing, right? Like we as peasants pay $40, $60, $100 for a 20-minute Uber sometimes, and that hurts our wallets, right?
Yes.
So like the common man, while I still don't condone it, I could get behind the stupid logic of being like, oh, I just had 16 beers. I'm going to put my eye patch on and make my way home. Okay. Like, I can't afford it or whatever, right after I just spent $200 at the bar. But like, these players, man, pay a driver, man. What are you doing? Pay an Uber. Why are you driving home?
In this case, it's like, so those are always insane cases. And I think, to me, like the drinking and driving, you almost have to like want to do those things, like, because you have all of the everything you could ever want at your fingertips. Financially, anyone would drive you. And I mean, Uber and Lyft exist. So like, have a weird conversation with an Uber driver. We all do it, be an American. Like, just, welcome to society. Your Uber driver smells and it's weird. Like, great. Like, that's just part of the American dream nowadays. But like, I think that this type of a story where it's like, it's quite a bit of money. First of all, why are there this much high value items in an Airbnb on vacation? I don't know. I don't know what they don't list what the items are. I'm sure some of it's jewelry, some of it's, probably cash and, petty cash, but that's a lot of money, a lot of high value items on a vacation with you. And then it's also like, you can afford investigators. You can afford to let the justice system play out in your favor, because up until that point, you're the victim. Like, let that be. Let yourself be the victim. Let it 250 insurance exists on all this stuff too, if it's that high of value. Like, to me, it's just stupidity. And a lot of it has to do with, I want to say, probably being young and stupid and having the world at your fingertips because you make so much money. And nobody has taught you ever how to have that. And no one's taught any of us how to have it, if we're being honest. So
It's true. And I don't know about you, Jason, but when I was like 21, 22, I made no mistakes ever. I was always a good kid.
Perfect. I was so perfect. And, you know, I was, you know, I would keep that $10 in my pocket and I would give it to the old lady at church on the way out. And, you know,
I bet you would.
Perfect little guy.
I bet you would. All right. I do have one question for you on this topic, though.
Yeah.
So I want to know, since you're a Lions fan,
Yeah.
do you think that the Lions, if Terrion Arnold played the same level in his first 2 years, as let's say Sauce Gardner played, do you think he gets cut today?
No, I don't. And I think eventually, the Lions would let this play out longer. Honestly, if he was a Sauce Gardner level player, the reality behind this is he's been pretty bad his first 2 years in Detroit. He is the walking pass interference, and it's like the walking holding call. I mean, if there was a time his rookie year that quarterbacks on third down would just put the ball somewhere in the vicinity of him, and like the play call wasn't, the receiver's nowhere near open, but he is draped on the receiver because he's lost. And so like that is reality. I honestly think, and I hate saying this, I don't want to like, you know, dance on his grave, but he was not going to get his fifth year option was not going to get picked up. I don't think this was a make or break year for him. He didn't make it. So he's out. And I think if it was a Sauce Gardner level player, I do think they would have kept on to him, but ultimately probably the same end game in this. And you know, what's the really unfortunate part for the Lions are like, this is already a really bad positional group at the moment because of injuries. I mean, they're coming back. You have like in the secondary, you're looking at, Terrion Arnold obviously gone. You have Brian Branch, who's probably their best defensive player. He tore his Achilles in December. And so he isn't practicing yet, his last report. So, and it's an Achilles. So let's just be honest here. Like, and he's a defensive back. That's going to take longer anyway, with the quick twitch muscles and fibers. And so, I don't think that's even a 2026 reality. You have Kirby Joseph coming off knee injuries last year, barely played last year. This is already a very banged up group. And then you thin it out already more. I mean, you're looking at starting corners, you know, DJ Reed, older guy, he's 30. His backup's Rocky Ya-Sin, who's also 30. You know, DJ Reed's good, but the older you get in that position, not good. And then you have Keith Abney, which we know if you go back to the draft shows, I was the big Keith Abney guy. I still am really high on Keith Abney, but a rookie starting in the outside corner in that division, like, good luck. So I just, as a position of need, I thought going into this, now you're losing possibly cornerback one, and it's just going to put more stress on the front seven, which already, I don't know if it's going to, I don't know. I think this is a marginal group last year, and I think it just got a lot worse. And I think the hopes for the Lions rests on, can they figure this out? Can they stay healthy enough to, have their starting 3-4 guys? And can they find a guy in free agency that can maybe impact them? I'm thinking of guys like Trayvon Diggs or someone like that. Like, can you get one more? It's like the toothpaste tube where you like one last little squeeze out of it. It's like, is it in there? Can we find it?
You roll it up one more time. As you're saying this, I'm kind of like licking my lips. I'm like, would the Detroit Lions trade a first-round draft pick in 2027 for Denzel Ward?
How all in are you is the question. Like, if this is your window, which I've been long saying, like, I think the window's closed or closing, like the last vestiges of this window. So I would 100% do that. If this is truly you're at the end game here for the Lions and you are going to blow it up anyway, why the hell not? He's one of the best corners, I think, in the league. And he probably wants a new opportunity to play for a winning team and a winning franchise.
Actually, he doesn't, but he loves Cleveland. I mean, he grew up in Nordonia, played for Ohio State, and now has played for the Browns his entire career. But I was just thinking, man, if they're that desperate and they're in win now mode and the Browns aren't, Denzel's only good for 13 to 14 games a year, right? He's always got some kind of injury. Unfortunately, he's had a ton of concussions. Yeah. But I don't think the Browns would likely get a first-round pick, maybe a second-round pick for him. But, man, if the Lions are desperate.
As a Browns
fan?
You want that?
Yeah.
You got that first-round 2026 or 2027 draft pick. That's what everyone wants, right?
I don't have much faith in Jared Goff and this offense, even though our mutual friend, Tom, who I talked to at the wedding 2 weekends ago, seems to think that everything is going to be fine and that I can't even remember the name of the guy they drafted, the left tackle.
Miller.
Yeah, Miller, who other teams were like, oh, they got him? Great, we get to get our player now. But I don't have much faith in the Lions offense since Ben Johnson left. And now that you keep telling me about all these injuries on the defense, I'm like, I don't have a whole lot of faith at all in this team.
No, it's really unfortunate because the window was very short, and it was, and this is the thing. I keep reading this, and I'm not going to say this. Like, this is not putting my name on it, but it's like, how long until Dan Campbell is on the hot seat? Like, how long do they let that go? And honestly, the season hasn't started, so I think it's a foolish comment to even make. But
yeah, there
is some merit to it as you get. As you look at his decisions that he's made and the position he's put them in as far as like in-game decisions. And it's like, okay, now we don't have obviously rosters turn over a lot throughout the year and over year. But, this is a problem. It's becoming a problem in the way they're building it and the guys that they have. And maybe he becomes sticking with people too long. I don't know. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how that unfolds. I think the Lions will be a very interesting team to watch this football season.
I agree. Shout out to Casey. She is on Facebook and says my name, which I love to hear. I thought she was yelling Brian Branch. That's what I thought she was yelling for. Oh, maybe, but no, probably not. She's a Browns fan, not a Lions fan. Nobody in Cleveland's worried about the Lions unless Sean moves here. He'll be the one person. And the other football that we don't talk about on this show, the USA is still up 1-0, and it is 57 minutes. So we're getting into the first 12 minutes of the second half already. Now let's talk a little bit about Brendan Sorsby. We've touched on him in the show. Obviously, last we talked about him, I think he had not been suspended or kicked out of the NCAA, what have you. Since then, he has been essentially removed from the NCAA, even though he fought that, then applied for the supplemental draft, and to my understanding was able to get into the supplemental draft, and then the NFL came back and ruled that he was ineligible for the supplemental draft. So a lot has been going on in Brendan Sorsby's life, and as far as I understand, his lawyer is still fighting to like trying to fight the NFL, which we all know is not
good luck.
Yeah, it's a losing game. Like, you're just going to make your client Brendan Sorsby like get a bad name in the NFL, and it's a lose-lose situation. So just like close the chapter, move on. I think. Yeah. Do you think that this was the right decision for the NFL to make? Number one.
Absolutely. So what's really interesting too is the CFL followed suit this week, and the CFL banned him from any of their exemption lists or any of their drafts. So
wow,
I think it's the right move, and I think the reason it's the right move is because there's an issue with gambling. We all know that there's an issue, and it's for a long time it's been swept under the rug, not talked about. Now it's very public. It's a very public thing to talk about. Everybody talks about it. So I think that it's such a high profile thing. You have got to make an example out of somebody about it with it. And obviously the NBA has, with all of their issues that they had. Pete Rose is the kind of the biggest case study you can have. MLB held on to that as long as they possibly could, and then some. And so I think that it's absolutely the right move. I would be interested to see what happens further from here. Like, what happens next year in 27? Because, What I read today, and I don't know if this is real or not. So like, if it's fake, like feel free, fans, to call us out on this. But like, I read that he transferred to a JUCO today, so that he is because it's not bound by NCAA rule. It's a junior college, and so he transferred to a JUCO and is going to be the starting quarterback at JUCO. So how interesting is all of this is to me, it's super interesting. But in the short answer to answer your question, like 100% the right move by the NFL, the CFL, the NCAA, and whoever made decisions on this. Like, kudos to you guys for sticking up for something, because if not, if you let him play, this was going to get insane. What do you think? Like, how do you think of this?
So no, I agree with you that it is the right decision to make. It's close to home for me with Emmanuel Classe and Luis Ortiz and everything that was going on with them. I mean, they didn't throw games, but Emmanuel Classe was like a real spot on, like, targeted pitcher who was all of a sudden like throwing wild balls for his first pitch of the game. And like, it was almost like if you threw me out there, right? Like, is this guy going to get a strike, or is the ball going to hit the first baseman, right? Like, where's this thing going to go? So with that going on, and like with all the things you've seen with Malik Beasley with the NBA, I was just watching some clips earlier this week. Actually, ironically, I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but there was one that stood out to me where the spread was 8.5. There was like 4 seconds left in the game. Somebody made a point to make it a 9-point spread. So Malik Beasley inbounds the ball, full sprints. Nobody else is even playing. Full sprints with like 3 seconds left in the game, full sprints, and puts a layup in to make the game a 7-point spread, a 7-point to be the under instead of. So with all this stuff going on, I think it's necessary, right, to set an example. I mean, you mentioned Pete Rose. You need to set examples. I also, though, on the other hand, also both sides of the story, I feel horrible for this Brendan Sorsby kid. It sounds like he wasn't getting rich, right? When he was betting on his own team, he was like the 5th or 6th quarterback on Indiana's roster. And he was doing $3 like parlays. Like, the man he wasn't doing like $1,000 bets on whether he was going to have a 57% completion rate or a 55. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't things that he could control. He wasn't even playing. And it was, like I said, it was just stupid parlays, but apparently he did a ton of them, which I don't understand why. I feel like you're just burning money at that point. Just go to the casino and throw it all on black.
Right.
But everybody has their own things, right? So it sucks for him, and it sucks that he's the example, but somebody has to be the example. And so I think to the point, the NFL did the right thing, but I think it just sucks for this kid.
Yeah, and I think it all stems, like, for me, like, integrity of the game and integrity of the outcome is important. And I think that a lot of people, if you go back to like the Tim Donaghy stuff in the NBA and like the referees and the officials, and I mean, if you can suspend reality for a second and say like everybody's clean and no one's on the take, like, okay, but we all know that people, like, that money drives people to do things, and also like leverage drives people to do things. And so you can look across sports tonight on any given night and know pretty securely that somebody has money on something that they're doing. I that's my opinion on it. And we've made it too easy with prop bets to make this a thing. So like, you think about, like, if you watch that Akron game, that clip, I don't remember, I think it's been an investigator or being an investigator or something. It was the Akron football game. It was like, it was Akron against Buffalo or something. And they throw that long pass and the receiver catches it, and he has an end zone right, in front of him. He's going to score, and he runs out at the 10. Like, he like tight ropes and runs out at the 10. And it's like, there's something fishy there. And it's like, okay, so if you're a kid, like, NIL is real, like, okay, everyone's making money. Not everyone's making actual money. And so it's like, if I have $1,000 and I put $1,000 on me under 100 yards, and I can make that $1,000 into $2,500, that's a damn good day at the office. So why not do it?
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, I mean, you're spot on there. All right. Well, the next thing we'll dive into we made some backup quarterback rankings. So why don't you tell a little bit of our fans what inspired this, or just what the heck is going on? What are we doing here?
So everybody, this is the meat of the show. This is what we are here today for, because I can tell you, America, you can turn on ESPN, you can turn on Greeny, you can turn on Golick, you can turn on anybody, and they're going to tell you about starting quarterbacks. They're even going to rank them for you. Colin Cowherd, he'll rank them all day for you. But only here on the Rust Belt Rivalry Show are we going to talk about the backup quarterback. And why is the backup quarterback so important, Brian? It's because last year, 63 quarterbacks started NFL football games. 63. That means a lot of people from this list we're going to talk about are going to have major impacts on your favorite teams this year. Their outcomes, there's playoff implications in here. There's playoff game starters on this list. It's every year. There's a diamond in the rough here. There's a crazy backup story. You have your Taylor Heineke stories where he's laying on a couch studying for finals. My favorite of all time is Kurt Warner bagging groceries and comes out after Trent Green tears his ACL and wins the Super Bowl and the MVP. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's one of the coolest things in sports. No one talks about it. It's so vitally important, and I'm just pumped to talk about it. As you can hear in my voice, I am Mr. Backup Quarterback.
He's been very passionate about this topic. And without further ado, let's dive in. Now, I will say, since I know there's a lot of Browns fans listening, I want you to comment in. So what we're kind of reviewing is all the backup or potential backup quarterbacks that will be playing in 2026. People that are in the mix for a backup spot, right? Or even a starter that could be a backup instead. So I want you guys as Browns fans, I want to see if you can tell me how many of these backup quarterbacks have at one point played for the Cleveland Browns. Now I'll help you out with the count. 2 of them are on the list, are actually fighting for the spot of the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. But shocking to probably no one, there's a lot of quarterbacks on this list that have once played for the Cleveland Browns. I'll just spoiler alert that. So Jason, let's start with yours.
I also want to do something with the Cleveland Browns fans also on this that are listening. So I want you guys to put in your bets. And we talked about gambling, so now we're actually going to do some gambling. So over under 0.5 names added to the Browns quarterback jersey this year, because the current, so that'd be 1 or more people added to the jersey. The only one on the roster that could be added who hasn't been added is Taylor Green. So. Is there more? Is there somebody else that they're going to, sign and play? Let us know. I love that jersey. It's the best thing in sports.
I so badly want to say the under, but I have to take the over, to be honest, because I think the Browns have played 4 quarterbacks like 3 of the last 4 years or something like that. Something crazy. Like you wouldn't consider this. You wouldn't think of it. But it's sickening. But in any event, let's talk about the backup quarterback. So tell us about your categories and maybe why you have some of these guys in certain areas.
Yeah, so this was the fun part of doing this. Is like I wanted to put them into little groups, not necessarily rank them. Because again, Colin Cowherd's going to rank them all day, but who knows? 33 through 64. Who cares? 33 through 64. Who are these people? What are they doing? So. My categories are hope. So who do I have hope for? Who are they? Who is this gentleman? And also this is like a future insurance salesman, probably not necessarily a quarterback. Then can win you a game. This is where we start to get into like these quarterbacks might have pulses and be pretty good. Trying to start a controversy. Are they? Veteran clinging to NFL life. This is like that great retirement plan. And these are the gentlemen that are on that retirement plan. Fun. These quarterbacks are fun. And this is the list. Obviously, I'm really excited to talk about the fun list. Here's the cream of the crop. These are the guys I think that are probably the best of the group. They give you the best chance to maybe win long-term, that if you are starting 4 to 6 games, like these are the guys you want. Touchy situation. This is reserved for 1 and 1 only. and that's Deshaun Watson, because the obvious, it's just a very touchy situation. Trying not to get killed. These are guys that look like deers in headlights playing quarterback, and they're just out here trying to not end up in the hospital. And then please do not let my quarterback get hurt. These are the guys that you absolutely do not want starting at quarterback for you. So without further ado, here's how I put it. Obviously, the names, you've already read them, but hope, that's for Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall pick. Obviously, at some point this season, the Raiders are probably going to want to bench Kirk Cousins and put Mendoza in. I think that's a really good situation for him behind Cousins. So, Raiders fans, you should have hope today for Fernando Mendoza. Obviously, we had a fan listening that wanted to fight me or something about my Fernando Mendoza takes. Here, my friend, I'm giving you some hope.
There you go.
So now we're moving into the who category. I do know who these people are because I looked them up, but Tyson Bagent or Bagent, however you say it, doesn't matter. Who is he? If Caleb Williams gets hurt, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. You're done.
Apparently, Ben Johnson was staunch on keeping him, by the way.
Okay, that's fine. It's probably Ben Johnson just because the guy knows he knows his stupid trick plays. So, that's probably how it's going to be. Next is Tanner McKee. Who?
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
You know who he plays for, right?
I don't.
Philly.
Oh, yeah. Philly has 3 people fighting for the backup quarterback spot.
Andy Dalton's one of them. He is a veteran clinging to his NFL life. But
yeah, he definitely is.
These in this category, these are guys that you don't know a lot about them. Tanner McKee played at Stanford, big guy, who knows. So now moving on to who can win you a game. So these guys have all won games across the NFL, and these are kind of really close to that cream of the crop where you want to be. Your Tyler Huntley, I think in Baltimore is a really good option. I think he's done a lot, done really well. He's made a Pro Bowl somehow. Gardner Minshew, if you don't like Gardner Minshew, you don't have a pulse. I love Gardner Minshew. I just want him on my team. He lived in a van. Great dude. That's a backup quarterback for you. Sam Howell in Dallas. Dallas has a backup quarterback controversy, and I cannot wait. But Sam Howell signed a big contract this year, a $6 million contract. So we'll see if they keep him and how that works. Yeah, exactly. Follow the money, Brian. Marcus Mariota, he's kind of won at every level. He's filled in games and won. Davis Mills, I think it can win you games, 2 or 3 games down there in Houston if needed. He did over the last couple of years. Mason Rudolph, as long as he's not getting hit in the head of the helmet and hurling slurs, I think you have an opportunity to win some games there. I don't know if he's the long-term backup quarterback option. I think I wanted to add Will Howard to this list, but I don't know. He didn't fit anywhere. So I went with Mason Rudolph. Drew Lock. I like Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock is a really good backup quarterback, a really good backup in Seattle. I think he has starter ability for a very short term. And then Kyle Allen. If Josh Allen gets hurt, his younger brother Kyle comes in, it's not going to make a difference, but he can win you a game because of the people around him. Trying to start a controversy, Anthony Richardson. The only reason he's here is because what they're paying him, and I think Danny Dimes is just set to crash. That whole thing in Indy is I think a quarterback mess. I really like Riley Leonard, but Anthony Richardson, if they can find a way to use him, maybe he starts a controversy. I don't know. Shedeur Sanders. Controversy? I don't know. Maybe. Who's going to start in Cleveland? Well, if they don't start Watson, or if they do start Watson and then Sanders, who had decent tape last year, I don't know. I think that's the best opportunity for a controversy this year is there. And I also had one added that you erased, but I wanted to add 9 to here. So I don't know if you knew what I was talking about when I had the number 9, but that's JJ McCarthy's alter ego. And so if JJ McCarthy, you don't want him out there, but 9 is trying to start a controversy. And so I just keep an eye out for 9.
I wish I would have known that that's what you wanted to talk about, because I would have got that stupid gif of him with that
his stupid face.
Yeah. Anyway,
we
proceed.
Yeah. So here's your veterans clinging to life. You can read the list. On this list, I think the interesting ones, Kirk Cousins, he's going to start, but I think, he is clinging to his life. He's 36 years old. Teddy Bridgewater, this is a super interesting story. Retires. They bring him back. He wears the number 50 as a backup quarterback. Like, super weird. He's back. Carson Wentz, this is, the whole everything in Minneapolis is weird. Carson Wentz included. Now I want to get to the fun stuff, because this category, the one I'm really excited about is Justin Fields. And it's not because I'm a Buckeye fan. I'm excited for Justin Fields because this is his first time having competent coaching since he left Ohio State. And we've all seen the type of athlete he is. So if Andy Reid and that offensive staff can figure out a role for him after Mahomes gets back, I think there's a lot of fun there. He's a super athlete. He's a great runner. I think you're going to be hearing Justin Fields' name a lot this season in positive ways, because I think they're going to put him in positions to be good. And again, this is his first real coaching that he's had in his NFL career. There's some bad Bears teams, Jets, wherever the hell else he's been. But I think the same kind of goes with Jalen Milroe. I can kind of group those two together, kind of the same, like, can we figure out a role for them? They're super athletes. Joe Milton I have on this list because the guy can just throw a ball through a human being. And so it's like, again, there is a controversy for the backup spot in Dallas, and it sounds really funny. Like, okay, there's a backup quarterback controversy, but it's really like, do I want the more stable Howell or the huge upside with Milton? And so I think it's going to be interesting. I think he's just fun to watch. The most fun player in the NFL, though, is Jameis Winston. He is. Speaking of World Cup, if you watch his World Cup coverage, the man is a Renaissance man. He is a Renaissance man. And he's like doing all this like work with ESPN and all the networks or whatever who's hosting it. Jameis Winston is the kind of guy you just want, like, 40 touchdowns, 40 interceptions, 4,000 yards, some crab legs. Like, it's outstanding. It's a circus, doing circus or snow angels. You want Winston out there. And then Tommy DeVito, just, you want Tommy DeVito. It's a good thing. And then Riley Leonard. I like Riley Leonard personally. I like Riley Leonard. Always liked him at Notre Dame. So, and I think Indianapolis, there's an opportunity for him. because one of the backup quarterbacks that played last year was freaking Phillip Rivers off the
playoffs.
Playoffs. Like, speaking of bagging groceries, that guy was having more kids because he needed them. Here's your cream of the crop. These are the guys that you want as your backup quarterbacks. The one that might surprise you is like the two that might surprise you, I think, are Tyrod Taylor and Michael Penix. I think Tyrod Taylor is really good for that offense in New York. I think that's a good fit for him. There's some good weapons up there. I think he's he's a good enough quarterback to win some games for you long term. Michael Penix, I think there's more to Michael Penix, I think, than what we've seen. I don't know if he's going to get the opportunity with Tua, but I really like him. I know you hate the coach. I get it. And the lefty, he's going to kill him, I'm sure. But and then I think Joe Flacco. I had a question mark next to Joe Flacco because it's like, at what point is he going to fall off the cliff? We've seen him at his best as a backup in Cleveland. We've seen that he can do it still in Cincy to a degree. And it's like, at what point does he fall off the cliff? I think it could be this year, but if not, he's a really good backup option to Joe Burrow. And then Mac Jones, obviously, did a great job filling in last year for Purdy. And so I think he's probably your best backup. Here's your guys trying not to get killed. A lot of rookies: Ty Simpson, Cade Klubnik, Quinn Ewers. These are guys that just look like deers in headlights, trying not to get killed. Also, ironically, on teams with bad offensive lines, not good. And then Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is like the guy on the Abercrombie and Fitch poster. Like, I don't know how he's a football player. Like, get him out of here. And then please don't let the starter get hurt. Nick Mullins has been around for what seems like forever. I don't know if he's won a game. He may have, but he's been around forever. Trey Lance, that whole thing has been, that's garbage. Kenny Pickett, little hand Kenny Pickett, get him out of here. Jake Browning, he's got a very weak arm. I think that down there in Tampa it might work, but if the wind starts picking up, some of those trade winds off the bay, good luck with that. Spencer Rattler, No, I don't like Spencer Rattler because he, in the NIL era, he created before the NIL era, he created a logo with like a snake. And then he like got benched for Caleb Williams, then had a transfer, and he's just been, I just don't like him. JJ McCarthy, forever and always, get out of here. So this is my list of backup quarterbacks in the categories that they fit into. I would love for the followers to beat this up. Tell me where I went wrong. Tell me where you would have someone. And Brian, what do you see from my list that like jumps off the page to you?
Well, I mean, I'm going to show you the correct list with the correct
okay.
quarterbacks and the correct categories here soon. Jumps off the page. To me, I mean, you already actually touched on it before I even got a chance to make fun of you, but Tyrod Taylor and Michael Penix in the cream of the crop, no. Joe Flacco, like he's just, I mean, Joe Flacco was great in 2023, but this is 3 seasons later. I mean, he surprised me last year. I will say that he surprised me when he went over to Cincinnati. I was like, and this is another reason why I realized Kevin Stefanski is no freaking good. He went from Cleveland where like he couldn't do anything, right? We couldn't even get a first down with Joe Flacco to all of a sudden he's putting up 400 yards with Chase and Higgins. But again, he's not LeBron. He's not, come on. He's not even the cream of the crop backup anymore. That was a nice story 3 years ago. Doesn't exist anymore. Let me think here. What else? There was some other ones that surprised me. Oh, Tommy DeVito, fun. I mean, he had one fun game, right? Where like he got recognition, and other than that, no.
You don't just have fun when you say Tommy DeVito. You're just not having fun. Like when I say it, it's like fun. Like
I get excited with the Boston accent. I don't know about the new, what is that? The New Yorker.
I mean, I'm not
the heavy Italian. That doesn't excite me. So, other than that, I think it's a fair list. I guess the only other one is Quinn Ewers. I put like Quinn Ewers in I think is the veteran clean, or no, not the veteran. I'm sorry. I really wanted to put Quinn Ewers in my own, like the own category of like, doesn't even belong in the NFL, but I felt I had to be nice to him because what have you. Oh, go! Not that we're talking football, but the USA is up 2-0 with 82 minutes in the 82nd minute of the 32nd round, 32, the round of 32. Jeez, that's a lot.
You're doing great.
Woo! So, but yes, please take a few minutes. Maybe I'll try and clip this for TikTok or something. Please take a few minutes. Tell us all the reasons why Jason is wrong on all of these. He seems to be the one to stir up all the controversy. So this is his list of backup quarterbacks and what categories they fit in. Please tell him why he's wrong.
And just now, it's 2 idiots talking sports, not just 1 idiot talking sports. 2 of us here.
Well, yeah, the next idiot is coming next, buddy. Here's the next idiot's list. Here's my list of backups. Now this is the right list, okay? And holy cow! Oh, that's why I also put the team next to the player because I feel like the common sports fans probably don't know which team that these quarterbacks even play for anymore. Now, I did have a little snafu there with Jalen Milroe. Now, can win a game. I agree with you, Spencer Rattler. Not my favorite, but I think I don't have any hate from him from the NCAA years. I know he's not good, but I think he can win a game. Davis Mills, obviously, we've seen him go on a run. Marcus Mariota, you already talked about. Drew Lock. I don't think he's as good as you say, but I think he could win a game. Trubisky, I think he's trending up. I was kind of surprised that somebody didn't take a flyer on him and give him a real chance to be a starting quarterback this year after, apparently sitting in Buffalo for 1 year behind Josh Allen was like the renaissance of his career is what people made it sound like. I don't know why. I was expecting him to at least be in the fight for a quarterback starting position. And then Jalen Milroe, I think he can win a game right now. I really wish the Browns would have got him last year, but Seattle came and got him like 2 picks before the Browns picked. For me, who are like, I don't even really know anything about these guys. I don't follow college football as much as you do. So to me, it's Baggett, Riley Leonard, DeVito, and Kyle Allen. It's all like who, like you said, Josh Allen's little brother. I don't know anything about Kyle Allen other than the fact that doesn't sound like he's ever gonna be a starter. Trying to start controversy, just like you, I have Shedeur Sanders. I also had Fernando Mendoza. I didn't create a separate category for Fernando Mendoza, even though you said that he was terrible and he's not going to be good in the NFL.
Wow, I did not say that.
I believe the words were not even going to be as good as a poor man's Kirk Cousins or something like that. Then veterans clinging to dear NFL life. I had a long list for this one.
Yeah, you typed this in like size 2 font.
I mean, hey man, we're working on the graphics. They're going to get better. I just learned a trick today that's going to make these graphics way easier to read, I promise. But yeah, man, Joe Flacco, Jarrett Stidham, Tyrod Taylor, I think is well beyond his years of winning games. Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton, Teddy Bridgewater, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz, Zach Wilson. I think they're all like, if there were only 20 or 25 spots for backup quarterbacks, all these guys would be gone, except for maybe Joe Flacco. Fun, I agree with you. Jameis Winston, super fun, right? As long as he's not playing for your team. That is the caveat. If he's playing for your team, it is not fun. He had one fun game for us as a Cleveland Browns fan. It was against the Pittsburgh Steelers on a Thursday night, and it was snowing like crazy. And it was like this offensive explosion, even though you think nobody ever scores on Thursday nights. It was like 38-41 in like a blizzard almost. And Jameis Winston led the Browns to a victory. But as you said, the man throws just as many picks as he does touchdowns. He doesn't win you any games. It's like you have to count on the defense because he's going to make just as many mistakes as he does great plays. And it's not like tipped balls, right? It's like, oh my, what? I would do that. Like I can't read a defense. What I would do that. Joe Milton, I agree. Gardner Minshew, fun as hell to watch. Again, same thing. I remember a Browns game when he played for the Colts. He put up like 33, 38 points on us. Tyler Huntley, same thing. Super fun to watch, even though you mentioned he made the Pro Bowl. It was like 6 guys decided to decline after like the first 5 guys were already in the playoffs. So he was like the 12th or 13th selection. So take that with a grain of salt. Shedeur also made the Pro Bowl last year, and he was not Pro Bowl worthy. Will Howard, I'm excited to see Will Howard. Again, that's probably an Ohio State football thing and him winning a championship. Kyler Murray, I actually think would be fun to watch in the Vikings uniform. Cream of the crop, I only have 2 people. Mac Jones, you already mentioned, phenomenal last year in Kyle Shanahan's offense, and Justin Fields. I think that Justin Fields is, just as you mentioned, going to surprise the hell out of people with Andy Reid as a head coach, and we're going to get to see the difference between, like, poor coaching versus somebody who actually knows how to use his players. And even though they don't have great wide receiving core, I think Justin Fields is going to look awesome, and he's going to have them, I'm going to say, like 500 when Mahomes comes back.
Yep.
I'm very confident in at least that. So touchy situations, I took a different spin on this. I took people that I actually like touchy situations because I knew where you were going with it with the Deshaun Watson thing. So this is Anthony Richardson, who like, what did he like gave up in the middle of a play or something, and then they took him out. So they don't know what to do with him because he has motivation issues. And then Mason Rudolph, who clearly somehow we still can't hear the footage, even though we can hear everything that happens on a football field because it's all recorded and all mic'd up, and you can hear it when you're watching from your TV in your living room. But somehow we still can't find footage of what it was that Mason Rudolph said to require Myles Garrett to take his helmet and smash him in the face with his own helmet. Trying to not get killed. Literally, I'm not trying to make a joke. Unfortunately, literally Tua, and then the new guys, right? Carson Beck, Ty Simpson, Drew Aller, like guys that are brand new. Those are guys that are trying not to get killed. And then please don't let our starter get hurt is pretty much the field, right? It's like I have no faith in Michael Penix, Sam Howell, Trey Lance. It should be even in a lower category, but I wasn't going to make them more categories. Stetson Bennett, Nick Mullins, Jake Browning. He had like one good stint for the 5 games behind Joe Burrow 3 years ago and just has been dog water ever since. Cade Klubnik, no faith. Bailey Zappi, absolutely no faith. JJ McCarthy, your boy, no faith. Tanner McKee, no faith. And then, like I said, Quinn Ewers, I wish I could have put like another page of like just shouldn't even be in the NFL. 7th round draft pick that was had all this hype that he was going to be the next big thing, and just terrible, just terrible. Couldn't even beat out Tua last year, who wasn't playing very well. So, Jason, now that you've seen the correct list of categories, how do you feel about this?
I can't believe you don't know who Riley Leonard is, if we're being honest. Like, he played at Notre Dame. He played against Ohio State in the national title game. The face of Notre Dame football. But I think that, like, Spencer Rattler cannot win you a game. He just can't. So we should throw him out of that list. You know, I'm interested this Trubisky, like that's an interesting thing. The name that both of you and I omitted completely is Will Levis. Like, we didn't put Will Levis on this list, and he's still in the league in Tennessee. Tennessee has Cam Ward, Levis, and Trubisky. Like, that's a crazy quarterback room. Talk about controversy. Cam Ward, stubs his toe. There might be some controversy there. I'm kidding. There's no controversy there.
Just so you know, Spencer Rattler has won 2 games in the NFL. Now it's 2-14.
Yeah. Well,
won a game.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, Spence. I'm sorry. Your cream of the crop, I would agree. I think looking back on my list, I think I'm more hopeful on Tyrod Taylor's past than maybe some people are. Obviously you. But I do think Justin Fields maybe needs to cross that fun to the cream of the crop. So I like your list. It's maybe not as right as mine, but it's pretty accurate. And I like your Will Howard because I think he's fun too. I do think Will Howard could be an NFL quarterback. So I think he has the size, the ability. Does he have the arm strength? Probably not. But there's a lot of NFL quarterbacks that haven't had howitzers attached to their right arm. So I like your list. I hope that somebody comes in here and fights you, because Michael Penix, I have some faith in him. I've seen that guy spin the bean, man. I think he can do it.
I'm just going through here and trying to find all of the players that I know have played for the Cleveland Browns. So I've got 9 that I can see on this list.
Holy smokes, 9?
Yeah.
Damn.
So you've got people that I know of. You've got obviously Shador, Joe Flacco, Tyrod Taylor was playing before Baker came in. Kenny Pickett, very short stint. Obviously Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston for a cup of coffee. Tyler Huntley, actually Snoop Huntley played for the Browns for a hot second. None of the good players.
Of course. Keep in mind, everyone, they're still on the backup quarterback list.
Yeah. Nick Mullins, Bailey Zappi.
Wow. I didn't know Nick Mullins was Brown.
Yeah. So there's 9. Then all the rest of it. I mean, the funny thing too is, like, you listen to sports talk radio and 2 idiots talking football like we do on enough streams. Not almost every single one, but I would say at least 50% of these quarterbacks have all been tied to the Browns at some point, whether it be via trade or when you don't have a quarterback. I mean, life just sucks when you're a football fan. Oh,
yeah, I agree.
All right, one more thing you weren't as passionate about, but I am. my good friend, Jim Schwartz. Handsome man, handsome fellow, nice silver fox look there. This is pretty much the look I always remember Jim Schwartz in the Cleveland Browns. Some comments that he made on a podcast once he finally stopped stomping around and pouting about not getting the head coaching job and throwing a fit and quitting on the team and trying to weasel his way into being a DC somewhere else, even though the Browns finally were like, hey, no, we're not putting up with this, because usually they just let people do whatever they want. Like, oh, hey, Brian Callahan, you want your dad to be the offensive line coach, even though he's doing really well for us? Yeah, you could just take him. We're not even going to require any compensation. You could just have him. You can just take him from us, no problem. But Jim Schwartz, they actually stood strong. They stood pat, and they didn't just let him go to San Francisco or something where he could have actually made a difference, which I'm proud of, because he was a little baby on the way out. Now, for those who don't know, Jim Schwartz applied for the head coaching position for the Cleveland Browns, and you can see it from the picture here. He's not a young buck, okay? He's been in the league a long time. He's been around. He's already had a head coaching stint with the Detroit Lions, which I'm sure you can talk a little bit more about, but he wasn't very good. He was not good at all. He had Matthew Stafford and Calvin Megatron Johnson, and somehow had a losing record with that team. But I digress. Fast forwarding to the Browns, he didn't get the head coaching gig over Todd Monken was chosen over Jim Schwartz, even though they kept him around to like the final 3 or whatever they were doing. I don't know. It was a really long, extensive search, however you want to say it. But the funny thing to me is this guy gets on and kind of stomp. He throws a fit, right? He kind of like, the Browns wanted to keep him on. He clearly, when he got passed up for the job, he wasn't sticking around, right? He basically said, I'm not sticking around. He threw a fit. He apparently had a big, to do about throwing a fit on the way out. And then 2 months later or so, a couple of weeks ago, he gets on some podcast, some radio, and says about how anyone who gets passed up for a promotion, that they should leave that company. Jim, I cannot tell you how unrealistic that is and how out of touch you are with the normal population of the world, okay? I have been passed up for promotions several times in my illustrious career as a salesman. In fact, the last company I worked for, I was passed up for 2 promotions, and somehow I managed to still stay at that company and didn't just pout and throw a fit and quit. And I don't know, work on whatever paychecks you were living on from prior years of the millions and millions and millions of dollars that you're probably sitting on. Most of us need our paychecks to support our families and our children in an economy where groceries are probably about $450 a week. And it's hard to save a couple nickels, right? Now, that advice is absolutely hogwash, dude. You are so far off base. You could not just quit a job. It's just so unrealistic. And it's like, you're so petty, dude. Just calm down. You clearly 2 months was not a long enough hiatus for you to actually collect your thoughts and come off the emotional roller coaster. Like, you got passed up because you weren't that good. Yes, you got the Browns defense to be good, but they didn't think you were going to be a good head coach, and they want offense, right? Like, that's what this team has been lacking for so many years, was scoring points. And no, the defensive coordinator, I don't think, is going to help that. So, end rant. Jason, give me your thoughts.
Give me more. That was about the most passionate I've ever heard you on a subject. And you are like, I know that what makes great sports talk is debate, but you could not be any more right about how out of touch that is. He's coming from a position of such he's coming from a position of having so much already and being like such a, highly sought after individual. Like, oh, you're right. He's living off of money that he's got from being terrible at jobs. I mean, how much money did they have to give him to leave Detroit? In like the realistic nature of what he was looking to do. Like, I'm sorry, he's never going to get a head coaching job. The way that he handled everything in Detroit. I mean, you're right. He had Stafford. Now, granted, when he was there, like younger players, there were some injury issues, but that's how the NFL works anyway. But you have arguably 2 of the top 10 players of the last 15 years on your roster, and you're terrible. The only thing that people in Detroit or across the country, besides being terrible in Detroit with all that you were given and had, was your like post-game handshake with Jim Harbaugh. Like that's the only thing people remember about you. So you know what, Jim? Brian is right. Stop. Just stop. It's unbecoming. If you want to come on this podcast to defend yourself, you can. And I invite you. This is a personal invitation from Brian and I to come on this podcast and defend yourself, because I'll tell you what, you're going to lose. So
agreed.
That's enough of Jim Schwartz. I'm done with that guy.
Yeah.
We're never going to see him on the TV or sideline, whatever defense he runs.
What a horrible name, Jim Schwartz.
Jim Schwartz.
Great defensive coordinator. Terrible name.
Are you?
All right. So I hear that you have a no way or Jose for me.
And these are going to start to get tricky. I'm going to start making stuff up big time.
You have to.
I've enlisted the help of AI. So I have chatbots that are helping me out, make up some statistics. I got one today that I don't know if you're going to get. So Brian, no way or Jose. In 1977, Dusty Baker invented the high five. No way or Jose. Do you know who Dusty Baker is, right?
I'm thinking of a wrestler. Was he a wrestler?
No. Dusty
Baker.
No,
baseball.
Baseball manager, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking about now.
Okay.
I was thinking of Dusty Rhodes.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
You want this again? 1977, Dusty Baker is credited with inventing the high five.
I mean, 1977, that was only 10 years before my lovely behind was born. I'm going to say no way. There's no way that the high five was invented in 1977.
It is Jose. That is credited the first time that it was seen on TV and for the masses. The first time it was seen after a home run was Dusty Baker. So Dusty Baker invented the high five.
Interesting. Man, I guarantee you he did not invent it, but he gets credit for it. So good for him.
Yes.
Also good for you for giving your little sales pitch on how you're going to try and fool me and then not fooling me. This is exactly how Jason gets trades pulled off in our fantasy football dynasty league, by the way. Follow the money, he says. I also have a no way or Jose for you. So this is a Dallas Cowboys focused no way or Jose. So I would like to know, Jason, was there ever a player that played for the Dallas Cowboys who only played 3 high school football games and eventually went on to be the number 1 overall pick?
There's
3 high school football games and then went on to be the number 1 overall pick.
Okay, I need to think on this because there's absolutely no way that's true. I'm thinking of recent number. I mean, Dallas hasn't had a number 1 overall pick since like Aikman that I can remember.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily say it had to be recent. Just so
right. Okay, I'm going to say no way. That's not a possible statistic. And if it is a Jose, like I think that's false too. I think you got bad advice.
I triple checked this.
No, it is not real.
So in 1974, Ed Too Tall Jones was drafted in the number 1 pick by the Dallas Cowboys. Now, he only played 3 high school football games, but he did go on to play apparently they didn't keep very good stats, but at Tennessee State, he went on to play like 30, 35, 40 college games.
Okay.
But yeah, only played 3 high school games and then ended up being the number 1 draft pick.
That's insane. I have to look up the story on that one. My dad would probably know it, but that's insane.
There you go. There's something for you guys to talk about at the Thanksgiving dinner table as the Dallas Cowboys are putting up 42 points.
And losing by 1.
43.
That's how it goes.
Or tying them Packers. Oh, man. All right. Before we get out of here, I've got one more read to do. So we will tell you guys all about Dubby. Today's stream is powered by Dubby Energy. Get clean, crash-free energy with great flavors and ingredients designed for focus and performance. Head over to Dubby Energy and use code NETWORK216, the numbers 216, to save your 10% on your order at W Energy. Fuel your day. Jason, do you have anything before I get us out of here?
No, I want everybody though to enjoy the 4th of July. Don't be like Jason Pierre-Paul and hold the firework in your hand too long. Let go of the Roman candle. Let it go. Enjoy America 250. It's a great year. Celebrate this great country we live in. And then also, when the 4th of July is over, step outside, smell the air. It's football time. That's all I got.
Woo! It's definitely football time. Speaking of football, the USA won 2-0, so they move on to the round of 16. So go Team USA. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Thank you for following, listening, joining in with us today, commenting. Please like, follow, subscribe, press all the buttons. Follow the network. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me specifically, and I will be happy to answer them for you. We love you. We appreciate the support.